This week on Painting Lines.
Sinner and Alcaraz are kind of up there with the big three, big four.
He got ripped apart for this. He faced a lot of backlash on social media. I'm excited to see who that third and maybe fourth contender is.
Ready?
Welcome back to another episode of Painting Lines. The 1 month grass season is officially behind us, with Wimbledon wrapping up yesterday. And man, what a tournament we got to see. Another Alcaraz-Sinner final, this time with a different outcome. So we'll be breaking down the tournament, or specifically the second week, and giving you our thoughts. Then after that, I figured we'd do something fun and do a little recap of the grass season with some superlatives like breakout player of the season, most surprising run of the season, and a couple others along those lines. So, should be a fun one. Also, we have some exciting news. We have officially launched our merch website, so go check that out. Link is in our bio. We got some great shirts, hats, hoodies, polos available right now. So, it's a great way to support the channel and the show, other than liking and subscribing, of course. But Aiden, let's just jump right in here. So, what was going on in your head when Sinner had those three match points in the final there in the fourth set? Did you have faith in him closing it out this time, or were you kind of thinking like, oh God, this could be a repeat of Roland Garros last month? Because I was pretty nervous.
I'll be honest. I felt no nerves for Sinner. I feel like the match was in a very different place, momentum wise, right? I mean, obviously in Roland Garros, you were coming from Alcaraz having won the third set, right? Here, Sinner had won the two previous sets and had all the momentum coming into here. And it felt like because it was on his serve as well, it seemed as though he was in control. And one of these points, he was going to get a good serve and finish it out.
Yeah, it was funny. He had 40 love, and then I think he dropped the 1 point. I was like, uh-oh, this could be it. I feel like you just never know with Alcaraz.
Yeah, you never know. But also, it's just, you feel like it felt like Sinner had it to me at
Right.
least. I
Yeah, he
mean, then
definitely
again,
had it.
last tournament also felt like he had it right in Roland Garros and
Ah,
wasn't able to close it out there. But I just felt like it wasn't going to happen again.
yeah. Well, kind of brings us in here. Like Sinner wins Wimbledon, and honestly, just what a bounce back from the Roland Garros final. Because I feel like in his head, when he had those match points yesterday at Wimbledon, he's probably thinking, I blew these match points before a month ago. Like I can't let that happen again. Just the fact that he was able to conquer that mental side of the game and get finish this out was awesome to see. Wins his first Wimbledon title. I was extremely happy because I think this kind of like reaffirmed the rivalry because Alcaraz had beaten him the last 5 times they played. Just honestly wanted Sinner to win, even though like I don't have a preference on Alcaraz or Sinner. I just thought it would be good for the rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of being good for the rivalry, I definitely think that while Alcaraz had won those past five matches, it felt like a lot of those matches could have gone either way. Like a few that stand out, obviously, Roland Garros, Sinner has match points. You can even go to last year where at Roland Garros they had another five-set match that Alcaraz was able to squeak out and then take the title. And then even last year in Beijing when they had a three-set match, super close, went three sets, and it was two tie breaks. So it's not like one of them is Alcaraz has been dominating him in these matches. It's like a lot of these ones could have gone either way, and Alcaraz has just been getting it done. And so he felt like it was going to happen at some point. Like Alcaraz wasn't beating him by enough that it was clear he was going to keep beating him over and over again. And I also think it's a little bit kind of poetic that the way this turned out is that both of them entered the Roland Garros final having not lost a Grand Slam final. And then by the end of Wimbledon, they've both lost a Grand Slam final to each
Yeah,
other. So
yeah,
kind of a cool sort of way it was written there.
yeah. Definitely fitting that their first Grand Slam losses are to each other. I agree with you there. And you also said something very interesting too that stuck with me, where the fact that Alcaraz was beating Sinner, but it was by, marginal effort. Like he wasn't beating the hell out of him. He was like every match was very close. Do you think this could be a turning point now that like Sinner kind of handled him pretty well, and then like from now on we're gonna see Sinner dominating Alcaraz or no?
I think that was what some people were saying. Like some people feel as though now that Sinner has gotten it done and has the confidence against him, it's going to turn the tide. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think that when Alcaraz is able to produce his magical play, it's really tough to beat him. But Sinner just has such a high baseline, and they kept talking about it during the final. He just really wants to sit and hit those cross court balls and just pound it against you. And sometimes Alcaraz is able to create some offense off of that, and sometimes he's not able to. So I think it'll just depend on the day.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think this was more so Alcaraz just not playing his best tennis? Because to me, he kind of looked pretty flat out there and honestly just unfocused. Like he double faulted 7 times. He was 53% on first serve and he was broken pretty like early in all 4 sets. Like he came back in the first set, but still just kind of not the typical Alcaraz we've been seeing. And you need to play your very best, your 110% when you're going up against Sinner. And I don't think he did that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It did feel as though we weren't seeing the same levels from Alcaraz, but maybe it was just wasn't his day and he just wasn't able to get into the right headspace like you were saying. I don't know what might have caused that. Maybe you talk about the time on court that he had to compare to Sinner. Sinner honestly had the equivalent of not dropping a set in the tournament, right? Like you go through and he lost 2 sets to Dimitrov, but that match was still less than 3 sets. So you look at the rest of his run and he was dominating the rest of the way. So I wonder if that time on court started to add up against Alcaraz.
Yeah, it could, but like yeah, like you said, the equivalent of not dropping a set. He had that injury against Dimitrov in the round of 16. Were you kind of like it was pretty nerve-wracking coming into the Sheldon match, like, oh, is he going to be injured? Is he not? Clearly saw that he was not injured, and then kind of the rest of the way cruised through. Like, did you even factor in the injury in the final? Were you thinking like, oh, if Sinner's injured, this is going to be pretty lopsided, or not after the last 2 matches that you saw?
I mean, here's my perspective on the whole injury situation with Sinner. And this may be a bit of a conspiracy, but it's the way that it feels to me is that a lot of the time when Sinner loses, it seems like he has an injury. I'm not going to say he's not ever injured, but a lot of the time it does seem like, oh, he's losing this match and then an injury appears halfway through. And I wonder whether it's like he wouldn't have even brought up that his elbow was hurting, except for the fact that he was losing in this match to Dimitrov, and he kind of views it as an excuse because it seemed like in that match he was ready to bow out against Dimitrov. Dimitrov had all the momentum, seemed like it was going to go completely his way, and he was hurting. But I just feel like he will lean into an injury more when he's down in a match to kind of give like an explanation for why he's losing the match. And you saw that because he came back out the next match and it didn't seem to be bothering him at all. And I just wonder whether that's sort of a thing where it's more of a, not that there's no injury there, just that it's more of like a mental thing of like, oh, he's losing a match. And so that's where the injury starts to feel worse rather than the injury actually being the thing that's completely shutting him out of a match.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Djokovic would do something similar, I feel like back in like kind of the early days where he would always have these injuries or he wouldn't like show up as fit as normal. But I saw a funny tweet that said something along the lines of, there's this new thing called sinitis where you have elbow pain, but you cure it by just hitting the shit out of the ball the very next match. Like it's so unbelievable that you see him struggling. He's like shaking his arm out. It didn't look like he was able to get a full swing on. Then he got an MRI the next day. He didn't practice. Like everything was adding up to be like, this is a serious injury. And it turns out it was just a bone bruise, if anything, and didn't really affect him the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not that there's no injury there. It's just like it seems more severe in the moment because he's already losing.
Mhm. Do you think he got more lucky with the Dimitrov pullout or kind of facing an injured Djokovic in the semis?
I mean, obviously the Dimitrov. I feel like it's there's no competition there, right? Because while Djokovic was injured, and that's obviously a big blow, I just feel like the fact that he was down 2 sets in that Dimitrov match, Dimitrov had all the momentum. Sinner's not known for making the sort of fifth set comebacks that Alcaraz is. It felt like everything was going Dimitrov's way there. And then just the fact that not only does Sinner not have to grind and come back in this match, he just gets a free pass to the next round.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine if Sinner loses that match? Who you think Alcaraz is winning Wimbledon like easily?
100%. Yeah. I think that Dimitrov is probably losing, honestly, in the next round. I think he probably
To
loses to
Shelton, right?
Shelton.
And
Yeah.
then Shelton loses to Djokovic, or you think Shelton beats Djokovic?
Shelton maybe beats Djokovic, depending on how severe Djokovic's injury is.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
what a crazy just kind of way to look at the tournament if this happens.
yeah, exactly. And it's like that was not an unlikely scenario based on where that match was at.
No, definitely not. But speaking of Djokovic, let's talk about him. So he's been proving all year that he can make deep runs into Grand Slams, semifinal runs, but he just can't win one. He can't get over that hump. Do you think that there's a ceiling now with Alcaraz and Sinner, and like he's just not going to be able to win another Grand Slam, or do you think that he could possibly win one more?
I think it's exactly what you said. There's a ceiling with Alcaraz and Sinner. He would need to get really lucky, I think, to win one where both Alcaraz and Sinner go out. I can't really see him beating either at this point. It just feels like he's at a level where he's just not quite there. I mean, I wanted to break this down a little later, but I feel like there's 3 tiers of tennis player right now. Or in terms of top players, it's like Alcaraz and Sinner are the top two, and they're separated by so much. Then you just have Djokovic, where it's like Djokovic can, at a slam, is pretty much favored to beat everyone as long as he's healthy, but he can't beat Alcaraz and Sinner. And then there's just everyone else, like Fritz, Zverev. I mean, even like a Musetti. Like these are guys, Draper. These are guys that are like, yeah, they can make these big runs, but if you see him going against Alcaraz or Sinner, you're like, there's no way.
Yeah, I know that's funny. He's the gatekeeper, the new gatekeeper,
The
essentially.
gatekeeper to the top two, though, so it's like
Yeah.
pretty elite level.
Right, right. And yeah, unfortunately he's just at the end of his career, so it's not like he's gonna break in and like get there somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, at least on the bright side, he wasn't too pessimistic on like, oh, this is my last Wimbledon. Like he did say it was possible, but he does want to return to Wimbledon, and play one more time on center court, which was reassuring. I don't know if he'll be making semifinal runs next year, but at least that wasn't the last of Djokovic that we'll see. It was unfortunate seeing him injured out there because you could tell like he was just uncomfortable. He wasn't moving well. He pulled out the serve and volley, which was pretty interesting to see. Like played purely serve and volley games, which you rarely see from him.
Yeah. Pretty insane just that injury happened on match point, literally in the previous match. Just so unlucky that it happened to go that way. And it happened because of the ball tipping off the tape. So just an unfortunate turn for Djokovic there. And all I want to say about him though is, like I said, he is like the number 3 player in the world. Like if you look at the year-to-date rankings, he's number 3 right now based on these 3 slam semifinal runs. And it's just crazy to think about the fact that outside of those top 2 guys, he's the best player in the world still.
Yeah, I know. I still can't believe it. And it looks like he's actually having more fun out there. Like he's just like doesn't care as much.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I
I
think
feel like
it's
he's able to play more free because of that.
yeah, his legacy is insured, so there's no real worries for him.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about someone else here, Taylor Fritz, that you had mentioned earlier. He had a great tournament, semifinal run. I think all in all, a success for him because you even mentioned it. There's basically 3 tiers. There's the top two, Alcaraz, Sinner, then there's Djokovic, and then there's the everybody else. I feel like as Taylor Fritz, making the semifinals is pretty much the best you're going to get at this tournament, unless Alcaraz and Sinner go out and you like maybe make a final. But to him, I feel like he reached his max here at Wimbledon. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that for obviously for him, he's not happy. I mean, he's happy probably making the semifinal. There's a little bit of bitterness that he didn't win the tournament, right? But also, like you said, it's like the rest of the players are competing for one spot in the semis, right? I mean, maybe Djokovic goes out early, doesn't feel like it's a realistic thing, but it feels like three of those semifinal spots were set before the tournament was even started. And Fritz was able to get that last spot. So a good collection of points for him and overall a pretty solid run.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the Americans, I feel like other than Shelton, the Americans didn't really show out as much as they did, say, like Roland Garros. So who knows? Maybe a better sign for the U.S. Open too, that Taylor Fritz made a Wimbledon semi.
Yeah,
Because I
but then
feel
again,
like,
we talked about how he maybe is more of a grass court specialist, right? I mean, it's like six or something of his titles out of 10 or whatever he has are on grass. So
Mhm.
feels like this would be the place where he does better, right?
Yeah. And as far as just like comfortability, he's making deep runs and slams. He's being accustomed to the pressure. So it's just another kind of tool that he's added. It's not just about skill. Like he's getting experience making these deep runs. So hopefully that
100%.
could translate.
Yeah, making those deep runs is definitely big in terms of having the experience in those matches. You notice that a lot of the time, I feel like when you see a deep run from kind of a shock player, just the pressure of being in a Grand Slam quarterfinal, semifinal is so massive. And the more experience you have being in those matches, the more likely you are to win them, I feel like.
Oh, 100%. But overall, Wimbledon did not disappoint. I mean, we got exactly what we wanted. Another Alcaraz-Sinner final. I feel like people are just going to get greedy now, like expecting the US Open to have the same result. Are you?
Well, I mean, the US Open is the crazy tournament. I feel like it's the crazy slam because I've talked about this in the past, but the the winners of the U.S. Open have been different every single year since Federer won it 5 times in a row. I'm not saying there are whatever that is 16 unique winners. I'm saying that nobody's won it back to back since then.
Mhm.
So that means to me that it's a lot of volatility there. We saw what happened last year: early exit from Alcaraz, early exit from Djokovic. So anything can happen, and I think that's a lot more of a question mark in terms of who's going to be in the final there.
Yeah, it is the epitome of kind of a weird, crazy tournament. I mean, I saw a funny stat that when I was reading that Federer and Nadal never played each other in the US Open final.
Crazy.
So the fact that, people are comparing Alcaraz and Sinner to Federer and Nadal, yeah, we could possibly never see them face each other in the US Open, but I mean, hopefully we do.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting stat that I saw they brought up during the final there was that uh, Sinner and Alcaraz are the first guys since Federer and Nadal to play in the back to back in both finals of the Channel Slam. So
Whoa.
it's funny how you're already seeing so many things where Sinner and Alcaraz are kind of up there with the big three, big four.
Yeah, I know. Wow, crazy. Because even Jason Gay, great columnist for the Wall Street Journal, he wrote this great article just basically saying how like everyone thought tennis was not going to be as good after the Big Three era, and now everyone's proven wrong. Like we're getting that rivalry that everyone wanted, and it
100%.
may even exceed expectations too, not just meet them.
Yeah, it's like almost a throwback to that exact time when I was talking about 2006 to 2008, where it was really Federer and Nadal that was the question. Like, oh, which of these guys is gonna be able to beat the other one to win these slams? And those two guys were winning all of them.
Yeah, well, that doesn't even like that was pre-Djokovic, right? So throw in
Exactly.
Djokovic in there, throw in Andy Murray. Like I'm excited to see who that third and maybe fourth contender is. Like throw Draper in there, throw Fonseca in there.
Mensick,
Mensik, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much ruling out Zverev, Medvedev, Ruud, Rublev, like those guys. Like give us the next gen.
100%. Yeah.
All right, so earlier in the show, I mentioned that we were going to do some superlatives. So let's start out with breakout player of the grass season. So let's go with Gabriel Diallo. I mean, he won his first ATP title on grass. He broke into the top 50 for the first time. He won a round at Wimbledon and then played a five-set thriller against Fritz, which could have gone either way, but he's definitely on the radar now. I feel like he was kind of flying under before the grass season, but now he's kind of a name that everyone's well aware about now.
Yeah, I think you put that perfectly there, where like he was under the radar. You saw him at tournaments every once in a while. He might win a round or two, but now he's actually like you see his name and you're thinking, oh, Diallo, he's been able to perform it on grass. How can he do on hard court? How can he do on clay? And we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And then we got comeback player of the grass season. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Bernie Tomic. So he qualified for his first ATP event since 2021. He won me a bet of the week a couple weeks ago in Mallorca against Hijikata, and he had a win. He beat Eubanks at the Hall of Fame Open. He did have that kind of unfortunate match where he played doubles against Jack Sock and Bill Ackman, where he just didn't try his hardest, and I think he will be fined for it too. So that left a little bit of a stain, but still given the comeback player of the grass season to him.
Wait, why would he be fined?
So in tennis, you know how you're not allowed to play below like your standard. It's essentially tanking. Like you're not allowed to tank.
But he didn't
It's
lose the
literally
match. That's the thing.
he didn't lose the match, but apparently this is per Andy Roddick on his podcast. They're going to review the match and see that he did not try his hardest, and like that compromises the integrity of the game. It'll
I think
I'll,
to me, it's absurd that you would get mad at Tomic for compromising the integrity of the game when he's playing as a 59-year-old amateur. That's
yeah,
just so absurd to me. It's like, why does he have to play his hardest when he is literally guaranteed that he's going to win the match?
I get that it is insane even if you still win, but he was serving 50 miles an hour. Like we know that he can pump, 120, 130 mile an hour serves. So he's clearly not trying his hardest.
I mean, maybe he just wasn't confident in his serve that day.
Yeah, maybe Bill over there was
Yeah, Bill
giving
was
him nerves.
intimidating him. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say, yeah, good job on him to have this little mini comeback, but still, it's very early to call it a comeback, right? Like he's still outside the top 200 players in the world, so it's not anything super crazy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now let's do most resilient player of the grass season. Let's go with Taylor Fritz here. He had a first round loss at Roland Garros, but then he bounces back to start the grass season, wins Stuttgart, and then writes, "I'm back," but then proceeds to lose first round at Queens, but then bounces back after that, wins the title at Eastbourne, then plays a five setter against GMP where he almost loses,
Yeah.
comes back there, and then played another tense five setter against Diallo in the second round where he ends up making a semifinal after that at Wimbledon. So all in all, great just show of resiliency here for Taylor Fritz because I feel like it was just up and down the whole grass season for him.
Yeah, just not letting it get in his head, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
losing, for example, first round at Queens after writing I'm back. That's kind of embarrassing, but then he wins in Eastbourne. It's like, okay, it didn't let that loss at Queens affect him. And then he has that super tight match with GMP and doesn't let that affect him against Diallo, where he has another tense match. And then he's like, okay, I've got through those matches. I'm just gonna keep my confidence because it doesn't matter that there were five sets, they were just wins. So his ability to, yeah, just have a short memory, I guess, it has been a strong suit of his.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the mentally toughest guys on tour, I'll say.
100%.
All right, now we got the most surprising run of the grass season. I'm giving this one to Marin Cilic. So he beat Jack Draper in the second round of Wimbledon. And while he's definitely a household name, he was a former Wimbledon finalist.
And a Grand
I
Slam champion.
Grand Slam champion, exactly. I just think he was like off of people's radars completely because he's 36 years old. He was mostly playing in challengers before this. I think he had to qualify to get into Roland Garros. He was ranked just inside the top 100, around like the 80s before this. So that's why it was just surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Cilic is one of those guys where like he randomly has these runs, right? I mean, he won a title last year during the East Asia swing. And so he sometimes just gets little bits of his old form back. But overall, like you said, him beating Draper, who we kind of had as a guy to watch in this tournament, especially as a British player at Wimbledon, I feel like was definitely impressive and, like you said, very surprising.
Yeah, I feel like if there was also a reward for the most like anticlimactic run, it would also be Chilich because after this win against Draper, I got excited. I'm thinking like, oh, he's got Kaboli. Like this could be a chance where he makes a deep run, loses to Kaboli. And I found out, I looked before, he had lost to Kaboli in the French Open a month ago too. So I feel like it should have been maybe a little expected.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
yeah, either way, just kind of gained a lot of hype and then like didn't really like consolidate the big upset, the Draper win.
Yeah, I mean, he won the next round, so that's still something. But it's like it's a little bit of a bummer that he couldn't get it done against Kabuli.
Right, right. All right, now we got the best overall grass season. Drum roll, please. Jannik Sinner. You got to go with the Wimbledon champion here. He's even though he lost to Bublik and Halle, who cares? He won Wimbledon. That's all that needs to be said here about best overall grass season.
Yeah, I mean, the argument I guess would only be Fritz winning 2 titles or Alcaraz winning a title and making the final at Wimbledon. But I feel like really the grass season all comes down to Wimbledon. That's all that matters. So I agree with you here. I also want to mention that it's really impressive that Sinner has made the last 4 slam finals. So he's in pretty rare air right now. Just really impressive to see that from him.
Wow. Have you seen any backlash on social media about like, oh, we have someone who tested positive for, PEDs win a slam. This is crazy. No?
Every post, every post
Every-
that mentions Sinner, someone's saying that, right?
Yeah,
But
because Iga too. Iga won on the women's side, and she had been suspended for a failed drug test too. So people are, oh, the two Wimbledon, like, oh, this is what I saw. Terrible look for Wimbledon. Like two people who have failed a drug test are the final or the champions there. It's like, all right, come on.
yeah, I mean, what did they want, a
Yeah,
lifetime ban or what?
yeah.
What is? I'm
Like, come on,
confused.
do better, Wimbledon. Come
It's like, what did
on.
Wimbledon do, especially, right? Like
Yeah.
they didn't decide to put those like bans. They can't put the restrictions on people. Probably. I mean, I guess they
No.
can, right? I think they restricted people from playing in Wimbledon a couple years ago. Uh, Maybe the Russian players, right?
Oh yeah, in 2022.
So maybe they could have made that decision, but they
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
going to.
Well, at least as long as they don't give Bill Ackman a wild card next year, I'm fine.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But anyway, I think that about wraps up the main section of the episode. So you ready to jump into segments here, Eric?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey guys, before we jump in, we have some exciting news. We recently partnered with TruePro. They're a great place to buy strings, grips, and tennis apparel. Use discount code Painting Lines, that's one word, for 20% off store wide. You can find the link in our bio.
Sounds good. What's new in tennis? What did you see this week?
I saw Brad Gilbert get put on blast for what he said about Iga's Wimbledon run. So he tweeted, crazy Iga pop stat. The highest ranking player she played this tournament was Samsonova at number 12. Not sure when the last time someone won a slam without facing a top 10 player was. And he got ripped apart for this. He faced a lot of backlash on social media. Um, I just from Iga's trainer too, talking about like, oh, just because you can win ugly doesn't mean you have to like commentate ugly. People were saying that he kind of like undermined her run and it was very demeaning. He doubled down with it with another tweet after saying, everyone take a freaking chill pill. It's Twitter. Ouch on sensitivity.
What? I'm so confused what the issue is with that stat. Like if I'm just thinking like, is it just because it's a female player that he's commenting? Because if I saw someone make a stat that was like, oh, here's an interesting stat. Sinner was able to win this title without having played a top 10 player. I'd be like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Like surprising that he didn't have to, he got a kind of lucky run here. But I don't know why there would be major backlash for that.
Yeah, I mean, hence take a freaking chill pill. So I know Ash Barty, she was kind of pissed. She like had tweeted that three of her majors were get like she didn't face a seeded or a top 10 player. But I just don't think that that would like constitute as much rage as it should. I think people were just like quick to try to cancel him for being, you know, trying to undermine Iga's win.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems aggressive to he's just pointing out a stat. It's not he didn't say like, wow, Iga got so lucky. She barely won this tournament and didn't even play a top player. Like that wasn't the tone of it. He just said the stat.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was like phrased as a question too. I wonder when the last time someone did that. I feel
Yeah.
like he's just genuinely curious.
Yeah, that's insane that that would create such backlash. And I mean, yeah.
Yeah, poor BG. Anyway, what about you? What did you see?
I saw an interesting stat regarding ranking points. Obviously, I talked about how Sinner and Alcaraz are both kind of now fitting in with the big four. And this week, I saw that Sinner is now one of only five players, obviously him and the big four, to hold over 12,000 ATP ranking points. Uh, he actually currently leads the ATP rankings by around 3,500 points, which is equivalent to like what you would get from winning a slam and making another slam final. So a pretty big gap between him and between him and Alcaraz. And then he actually has nearly double third place Zverev. So he's just kind of separating himself right now. But surprisingly, I mean, I guess not surprisingly, given the fact that he was banned, he still trails Alcaraz by 1,500 points in the race to Turin. So it's kind of weird to see that he's behind, but it also just shows how dominant he is, despite the ban that he has that many points. And it leads me to wonder, like, if he hadn't gotten banned and he was able to play in Miami, able to play in Indian Wells, would he be even higher? Would he have like 13,000 ranking points? Just an interesting thing to ponder and shows how dominant he's been.
I think for sure he would have. Like when we did that episode about a year ago about like most like successful seasons of all time, I think if he never got banned this year, like we'd be talking about him in 5 years, about this 2025 season.
I mean, think about it so far: Australian Open final, French Open final, Wimbledon final. Wins two of those. So just impressive on that front. And then you also look at the fact that yeah, he made the final in a Masters 1000 earlier this year. A lot of things that were held against him, and he still has been so impressive.
Yeah, it's funny. So you did say that he's trailing Alcaraz in the race to turn. It made me think of the Six Kings Slam. Remember, I think they're doing that again this year where they take the top six ranked guys, and I think winner wins like 6 million bucks. So that'll be interesting to see like if that doesn't count towards ATP points, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Just
no,
because
it's just
it's
an exhibition, right? I mean, other if you took that, he actually Sinner beat Alcaraz at that last year, and that would have broken up their the streak.
right, right,
So,
right. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do you know who is top six right now? No?
top six would be uh, Alcaraz and Sinner, Zverev, Fritz, Draper, and Djokovic. I would think.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty different from last year already.
Yeah, well, I
Because
mean,
I know Runa and Medvedev were in there.
in last year they had uh, Nadal, I think, too, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
So it was kind of top five and then Nadal.
Yeah, the wild card.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But anyway, how about bet of the week?
Bet of the week. So I'm going with Nikolai Budkov Kajer plus 150 over Montero for absolutely no rhyme or reason other than him being Norwegian, and I'm backing my countrymen here. I was looking at the lines. I just didn't really like anything. I didn't recognize like 60% of the names that are playing this week. There's what, Gastad, Bastad, and Cabo. It
Yeah,
was
Los
just like
Cabos. Yeah,
Los Cabos. Yeah. So just not a lot of talent in there and no really like great lines. So I'm
yeah.
just going with a fun one.
I feel like I kind of agree in terms of the fact that like the bigger players that were playing in those tournaments are so heavily favored that it's like it's not
Exactly.
worth it to actually bet on them.
Yeah, it wasn't. I actually, speaking of betting though, on the final, I saw the lines. I think I got Sinner at minus 105 the day before, and Alcaraz was the favorite. Bet on him and then bet on him again when he went down the first set at plus 105. So I did pretty well yesterday with Sinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big
How
win.
about you? Who are you taking this week?
I'm going with maybe I think probably the best line that was available, which is Shevchenko plus 105 over Wawrinka. And honestly, it's just an age thing. I don't have a ton of confidence in a 40-year-old Stan. So I'm going with Shevchenko here.
Yeah, I like Shevchenko too. That's a fun one. I'll definitely be rooting for him.
Yeah.
I feel like Stan will get pissed at him for some reason because Shevchenko is very eccentric out there and Stan's like a no bullshit type of guy.
He's going to like talk to him at the net like he did with
Yeah.
Bruno.
Bring him in.
Yeah. So, like, don't be saying that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then match of the week, I think we're kind of just in agreement. It's got to be the final, just because even though it wasn't, obviously nothing can really stand up to that Roland Garros final. It was so much anticipation. It was exactly what you were hoping for pre-tournament. And overall, it was still a good match. It just wasn't quite as good as Roland Garros.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder if it got the same views, like TV views, as Roland Garros, because I think that was like one of the most watched men's finals of all time. But I know there was like what is it? There was some kind of soccer. There was a soccer match later on in the day. Chelsea was playing. I know that.
Oh,
But it was
the Club World Cup.
Club World Cup. What is that? That's in the US, right?
Well, it was in the US this year. I don't know if it gets held in different places. I'm not the biggest Club World Cup follower. It's a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as like the actual World Cup, like significantly
No,
less.
definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. But I know people were like, "Oh, that match is on at 3." So they extended the time. I think instead of starting at what was it, like 1 o'clock in London, they started at 3, and then Chelsea was on at 8. So people were worried that it was going to overlap. I don't know, just some food for thought there.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice for me. I mean, got to wake up a little bit later, watch it started at 8. I kind of expected it to start at like 6 a.m. for the West Coast.
Yeah, because that's what it's been the last, however long.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the show. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Painting Lines Podcast. Feel free to shoot us a DM or email us any questions or thoughts at paintinglinespodcast@gmail.com.